I'm really excited to be talking about how to power up your inner voice with the magic ratio of compliments to criticism. And I feel in many ways this flows on really nicely from what I was speaking about last time, which is how to create confidence in an uncertain world. Because we create our lives every day and it is shaped by two things: the stories we have in our mind and the words we tell ourselves and other people about what is happening to us. And if we have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day, and if nearly 80% of them are exactly the same as yesterday, which a whole range of studies suggests, then what is the balance between compliments and criticism when it comes to your self-talk? Now, interestingly, I stumbled across a ratio that's been discovered in couples counseling. And this ratio has been applied so that this particular study found over several decades they could predict with over 90% accuracy if a relationship was going to survive or not. And in this study, what they asked couples to do was to spend 15 minutes discussing an issue that was a conflict for both parties. And they observed by physical gesture and the language and body language that was used, the ratio of positive to negative interaction, and then how to use that to predict the success of the relationship. And they found the magic ratio was actually 5-1. So there are the ratio is 5 positive words, sayings, interactions, gestures to 1 negative was the golden mean to make sure that the relationship survived. So, okay, how am I talking about powering up your inner voice and talking about relationships between couples? Well, I'm very passionate that if you don't have a really strong relationship with yourself, which is the most important relationship of all, there are huge areas of your lives that maybe not going to turn out the way you would like, let alone the other relationships in your life. And self-talk is something that we have all day, every day, but it's being able to harness that power to make sure that it's working for us and not holding us back. So the 4 key destructive things to say in this couples counseling experiment was criticism, contempt, stonewalling, and being defensive. And the first 2, or 3 out of the 4, I think relate really, really well when it comes to our inner voice. Criticism, contempt, and the stonewalling or being defensive is I should or I shouldn't. I shouldn't have to do this. I should have done better. They shouldn't have done this to me. They should know that I'm trying my best. All those kind of sayings and sometimes blaming phrases that we can use when things working out fall into one of those 4 categories as well. And the power of the inner voice has always been an interest of mine, but recently a girlfriend suggested that I watch a new series on Netflix called Physical with Rose Byrne, who's a lovely Australian actress. But my friend found it particularly fascinating and recommending the program to me because she said there's a dialogue about exactly what's going on within this woman's head, and she has some significant body issues, and it's fascinating hearing her thoughts. So I dived into a couple of episodes, and I didn't find it so much awfully compelling as compellingly awful, just because of the absolute stream of vitriol that this character told herself during the whole day. And there was no 5-1 ratio. It was pretty much 90% negative. And it got me to thinking, how can we apply this very interesting ratio in our everyday life to maintain a really strong and positive relationship with ourselves, which in turn is going to affect our emotions and affect the future we want to create. Now, if you're familiar with my work in Feeling Forwards, you know that I am passionate about noticing what you notice. Because once you notice if you are on a negative path or your talk is overwhelmingly negative, then you can start to create a change. So step 1 with applying the magic ratio of compliments to criticism, obviously, is to notice when you are being self-critical. And also once you notice, it's much easier to stop. Self-criticism and contempt never helped anyone get anywhere, whether it's to yourself or other people. Being self-aware is a different issue. So what I suggest in applying this ratio is when you find yourself either being critical, or I should have done better, or why is this happening to me, which is always a very unhelpful question, is to think about thinking about 5 positive either interactions with yourself or things you have done or aspects of yourself that you actually like. Now, if you're lying in bed and you've hit snooze and you're already way past when you promised yourself you would get up, it's may be difficult to access the 5 positive things that you've already done because you actually haven't even started your day before you've gone down the rabbit hole of self-criticism. So think about something you might have done yesterday. Think about something you like about yourself. I remember once applying this to myself when I was out for a walk, and I was thinking it was a tough time, and I thought, I actually like the fact that I'm quite tall. And that was enough to stop the inner voice from powering me down. That was enough to get me on a completely different tangent of, actually, if I wasn't as tall as I am, and I'm not that tall, I'm 5 foot, just under 5'7". I think I'm 165 centimeters. But thinking, gosh, if I was a couple of inches shorter or I was a couple of centimeters shorter, I wouldn't find doing X and Y as easy as I do. And it just got me out of that negative spiral of self-criticism and contempt that is so easy to spiral down inwards unless you notice what you're noticing and you apply the magic ratio. So have fun with this one. For those of you that know my work well, you know I do not advocate happy, and sometimes when life drops a truckload of lemons on your doorstep, you don't always feel like diving through the recipe book to look for lemonade, lemon tart, or anything else. But there is a way, once you notice what you notice, and try this ratio. Don't just stop at 1 negative for 1 positive. Really challenge yourself to think of 3 or 4 or 5 other things that you do well, you were proud of, or you could do differently, and you will change the way you feel, and you will change your focus, and you will improve and strengthen the most important relationship in the world, which is with yourself. I hope you love this. Please message me or contact me or email me on ways maybe you've used the ratio of criticism to compliments, and it also works incredibly well with your relationships with other people as well. I will drop a link to the article for you to access so you can read the whole article at your leisure and learn all of the other interesting things that they applied to couples counselling as well. Until next time.